Hi everybody, my name is Danielle Nicole and welcome to Monetary Makeup. Now today's video is going to be a full face of nothing new per se. However, these products, a lot of them are actually new to me. They have been out for a little while, I would say within the last year, but there have just been so many new makeup releases, I haven't yet had a chance to try them out. Now all of the products I'm going to be trying out today are all going to be either affordable or drugstore options. Now if you are a busy mom or a busy woman and you are looking to save some money during this holiday season, I know Christmas, Hanukkah, all the great holidays are coming up. So if you're looking to save a little bit of cash this holiday season, you're definitely not going to want to miss this topic of the day, because I'm going to be giving you 3 tips on how to save money during this holiday season. So if you're excited to get started, don't forget to hit the like button, the notification bell, and let's get started right now. So first, let's get started with primer. So I actually ordered this. This is the e.l.f. Mint Melt Cooling Face Primer, but I ordered this quite a while ago when it first released, and I just completely forgot I had it in my collection, so I thought, why not try it out right now? Now, I've actually never tried out any primer like this. I know Milk has a Hydro Grip primer. I've just never tried any of these out. So let's get a pump or two out. I'm really curious to see if I will actually like this primer or not. Ooh, do you see that consistency? It's like a goo. Okay, I'm really going to be showing my age here, but you know what this primer reminds me of? Remember when Nickelodeon had, I think it was called Slime Time or something like that, where they dumped slime on all the kids? This is kind of what it feels like. It's super sticky and literally reminds me of slime. So if you have not tried out this primer either, right off the bat, I can tell that as far as the consistency goes, see how it looks literally like slime? But I think that it will probably work better if you rub it in slightly, but then just kind of pat it in, because it has that sticky texture. But I don't know, this is just a first impression for this. Oh, this smells so good. It smells like mint chocolate chip ice cream. That's my daughter's favorite ice cream. Oh, it smells so good. Let's see if it has any cooling effect. This primer just smells so good. It's not a super strong scent, but anyway, I like it. It smells great to me. All right, let's speed up the drying process a little bit. Okay, so the next primer is the NYX Proof It Waterproof Eyeshadow Primer. I don't believe I have tried this primer before. You guys know I love my e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer, but like I said, I wanted to try something different, so let's get this on the eyes. Okay, so this does have a cream kind of color to it. It's supposed to be translucent. So let me get this on the eyes. I'm just blending this in with an e.l.f. crease brush. So this eye primer seems like it also has a little bit of a tacky base, which I do actually prefer for the eyes. I think it helps the eyeshadow stick a little bit better. This NYX eye primer is definitely translucent. It looked like it had a color to it. However, upon the blending, it does not. It really is translucent. So if you have a darker skin tone, I do not believe this will show up. So I'm really thinking I would like to do kind of a bold, bright red lip today, kind of fall vibes. So in order to accomplish that, I'm thinking of doing a taupey, more light, smoky eye. So I thought, let's try out the Bambi palette from Colourpop. I ordered this palette when it first released, but I just have so much makeup, I haven't had a chance to actually try it out. So let's open up this palette and see what it looks like. These palettes are so cute. You actually get a decent amount of product in here for being minis. But, oh yeah, I remember why I ordered this palette. You guys know I am obsessed with cool tones since I have a cool complexion. So these have a few different taupey matte shades, a shimmery, a cool tone pink, as well as green. And it also has a deep brown. But can you see how pretty that shimmer is in this shade? Oh, that looks beautiful. So the first shade I'm going to go in with is this lighter taupey brown called Friend Owl. So I'm just going to use that shade to basically set the eye primer. So I'm just using a Wet n Wild fluffy brush. There's no number on it. So let's see how this little Colourpop palette performs. Oh yeah, this Friend Owl shade is the perfect transition shade. If you have a fair to light undertone like me, you can definitely see it, but it certainly does not have a ton of depth to it. Alright, next let's go in with the shade Long Ears to create some definition in the outer corner. Wayne Goss number 6 brush. So Long Ears almost has a gray undertone that also has a hint of pink in it. That is probably my favorite shade thus far. Wow, look at that dimension compared from this eye that has both shadows versus just the first. To deepen up the lash line, I'm going to go in with the deepest shade, which is Great Big Feel right here, that one that has that beautiful shimmer in it. Scott Barnes number 63. This brush lays down the perfect shadow for creating that outer wing. Ooh yeah, we're getting a little bit more smoky, guys. Okay, we'll come back to the eyes in just a little bit here. We will do the brow bone highlight and the inner corner highlight in just a bit. So next, let's move on to the complexion products. So first, I do just want to mention, after having a couple minutes of that primer sink into my skin, it does not feel tacky at all. So I'm kind of surprised by that. I was expecting it to remain tacky, but it doesn't appear to be that way once it has had a chance to sink into the skin. Oh, also, for my brows, I have on the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Pen in the shade Ash Brown and Blonde. And then for the brow glue, I went in with the new e.l.f. Brow Lift. I just did a review comparing this product to the ABH Brow Freeze. So if you're curious, I will link that video right up here for you guys. So this is probably one of the few products I have actually used before. So this is the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. I use the lightest shade, which is Porcelain. Oh my goodness. If there was ever a foundation, tinted moisturizer, that performed like a high-end foundation and only cost $5, it is this product. I mean, this outperforms almost all of my foundations or tinted moisturizers in general, and I find you can keep it sheer, but it does build up to a true medium coverage, so I thought let's go in with this. It is a new bottle. Have you guys tried out this Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator? Oh my gosh. I think I have 10 of these in my makeup collection because I'm always so nervous they're going to discontinue our most favorite products, so I bought a ton of backups, and you know, 5 of them, 25 bucks, no big deal. But here's what the shade Porcelain looks like. It's not quite as cool tone as I would like, but it's cool tone enough that I can get away with it. So any of my shade twinsies, Porcelain works out beautifully. So I'm just going to use my damp essence sponge and start pouncing away. This leaves such a beautiful luminous finish. I know it says it's matte. I feel like it's a satin, maybe leaning matte, but I feel like it's more of a satin finish. So I think that's why so many people love this product, because if you're dry, it's not mattifying, and if you're oily or oily dehydrated, it's not too dewy either. And it blends so quick. This is one of the quickest tinted moisturizers I've ever used. I just cannot say enough good things about it. So while we're on this tinted moisturizer, there is a YouTuber named Anwin. Do you guys follow her? She is so funny. I swear she could be a comedian, but she lives in the UK, so she hasn't been able to get this product, and I feel like it would be right up her alley. I wish I could mail it to her, but she just makes me crack up. I just wanted to mention it because she's so funny. Okay, so this is about 1.5 layers, just so you can see what my skin looks like. I haven't used this in a hot minute because I've been testing out so many new foundations, and I forgot how much I just love this product. So, okay, next let's move on to concealer. So the next product, I feel like I've tried this out, but it's been a while and I don't really remember, so it's new to me again. This is the Wet n Wild Megalast Incognito All Day Full Coverage Concealer, and I'm using the shade Fair Beige. This shade's a little bit too light, I'm guessing, to do spot concealing, but I just want to use it under the eyes because I cannot remember if I liked this concealer or not. I'm just going to do one eye at a time. This concealer was also released at the same time the Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator released. So I thought it was kind of funny they released a full coverage concealer with a tinted moisturizer, but I guess that look kind of works for most people. So let's see how this blends out. Oh yeah, I also have a new brush from Sonia Kashuk that I picked up for powder, so we're going to be testing that out in a minute too. Okay, so before we move on, I have to say I am loving how my skin looks. Oh my gosh. Between the Wet n Wild, the concealer for the under eyes, the Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator, and that primer was not too tacky in my opinion. So I'm not seeing any of my dehydrated portions of my oily dehydrated skin. It's sticking. I think everything looks pretty natural. What do you guys think as far as the concealer goes and the skin? In real life, it looks like a satin finish, just super natural. So I'm pretty picky about powder. Because I have oily dehydrated skin, I can't go super matte and I can't go super luminous, but I completely forgot I had this in my collection. So this is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer in the shade Reserve Your Cabana. Now, it beats me why they call this a bronzer. I mean, even on the fairest of skin tones, it's certainly not a bronzer, but I'll just do a little swatch so you guys can see what this shade looks like. It reminds me of a almost luminous setting powder. Let me get a little more. You probably can't see that on camera. Okay, let me come up a little bit closer. So can you see right there how it has a nice luminous glow? But there's no glitter in it. It just looks like a nice satin finish powder. So let's set the face with this. The new brush I have to test out is from Sonia Kashuk. And the number, there's no number on this brush. It is just called the Large Buffing Brush right here, which you can find this brand at Target. I really like how this is a flat brush, but it seems like there's just the right amount of density. It's not too thick, but it's not super whimsy either. So I'm just going to dip in a little bit here, swirled around in the cap. Let's see how this new brush and powder works. Yep, I really like this brush. It has a little more density than your typical powder brush, but that's exactly what I was looking for, more of a buffing brush that doesn't have so much flimsiness to it. Ooh, I almost knocked over my Nimya fan. Also, you can use a stamping motion with this brush, or you can buff. I'm just going to grab my Wayne Goss number 6 brush and just get a tiny bit of that powder just to set the under eyes. Would you guys be interested in seeing a declutter / organize video? I keep knocking everything over because I have so much makeup on this makeup table. So if you guys would be interested in seeing that, definitely let me know. Alright, so I really do enjoy this bronzer. I haven't used it in such a long time. I actually can't remember if I ever used it, so I wasn't sure if it was going to be shimmery or anything. It does not look shimmery. It just looks like a nice luminous finish, but it did take down the dew, so it's kind of that perfect balance. So yeah, so far liking that powder too. Just really quick, I'm going to grab the Scott Barnes number 63 brush, and I'm just going to dip back into these two browns just to smoke out the lower lash line a little bit. Now, even though Scott Barnes's brushes are synthetic, I find because the shapes are so unique, and they are just so helpful. This winger brush and also the number 61 and 65 are some of my favorite brushes from a synthetic high-end brand. I know this is supposed to be an affordable video, but I just wanted to mention that since I'm using the number 63. So before we move on to the rest of the face, I'm going to take the I'm Humpin' shade, the green shade from the Thumper palette, and I'm going to use the e.l.f. Small Precision brush and use that to pack on this green to the inner corner. Kind of curious if this is going to be bright enough or not for an inner corner, so let's see. What are you guys doing for Christmas or Hanukkah if you celebrate? Are you guys staying home? Are you doing something fun? Really curious to know. Okay, so I do like that green shade as an inner corner highlight. I think it provides just enough, but it's not super overpowering either. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that green for that inner corner highlight? Okay, so I am really excited for bronzer. I typically use cream bronzers, but when it comes to affordable or drugstore options for bronzers, there's really hardly any options. So I do have these new, I guess they're not new, but they came out in the last year, so they're newer. But the Revlon Skin Lights bronzers. So I picked up the only two shades I saw available, which is Sunlit Glow and Sunkissed Beam. I will swatch both of these for you. They just look like beautiful, luminous bronzers. I saw Steph on Steph's Beauty Stash use one of these, and it looked beautiful on her skin. If you guys haven't checked out her channel, highly recommend her as well. She's called Steph's Beauty Stash. Okay, so let's start with Sunlit Glow. So this is the lightest shade. And can you see that beautiful embossing on here? Oh, it looks so pretty. I mean, for drugstore, I feel like the quality of this looks so nice. So this one is Sunlit Glow, which is the lighter shade. And then the next one over right here is Sunkissed Beam. So let's dip into the first shade first, which was Sunlit Glow, number 110. And I'm going to use the Sephora number 72 fan brush. All right, hopefully this doesn't turn out too orangey. We'll see. Okay, so that is one pass, just one dip in. What do you guys think about Sunlit Glow? Nothing? The bronzer. Okay, so let's go in with the second shade, Sunkissed Beam, on my right cheek. I'm really curious if this one is going to appear darker or not. They look almost the same. However, this one just looks a little more luminous. I will finish up the forehead, but which side do you guys like better? Do you like Sunlit Glow or Sunkissed Beam better? Okay, so for the forehead, let's go in with a deeper shade. Again, Sunkissed Beam. I'm almost thinking that the lighter shade would be a great bronzer topper if you're looking a little bit too flat matte and you just want to kind of luminize the skin a little bit. Thinking that might be a great one if you have a fair to light undertone. And if you have a deep undertone, these would probably make beautiful highlights on your skin. So that is just the deeper shade. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of Sunlit Glow. So I'm finding I can be pretty heavy-handed with these. So if you've not tried them yet, I don't think they're super pigmented. Okay, another winner, you guys. Even though they are more warm and almost orangey or golden than I typically like, I do think my skin looks like it has a nice, healthy glow. And I don't think it shows up super orange, but let me know. What do you guys think? Honestly, I really am curious. The next product is the Milani Cream Blushes, and I have the shade I Cherish You, like I cherish you. Yes, I know I have not tried out the Milani Cream Blushes. I've heard so many good things about them, but again, there's just so much makeup out there. So let's do a swatch of this shade next. Okay, so these feel a little bit more thin, and it looks like they have more of a translucent base. So I'm guessing they are pretty buildable, so they're not going to be too pigmented. It does feel a little bit oily or greasy, so I'm not sure how this is going to work on my skin, but let's give it a try. I'm just going to use my finger for this. Yes, I know, I already set with powder. Oh my gosh, I know, but I do find that many cream products nowadays, you can absolutely apply over powder and it's fine. It doesn't really emphasize any of my texture or anything. All right. I'm really liking this shade. It kind of gives that natural, I call it the Michigan flush, because when you walk outside in the winter, you come back in and, you know, it's negative 10 degrees and you're freezing. All right. I really like that shade. I think if you have a cool undertone, I don't believe this will be too deep for you if you are fair to light. I am thinking because this texture almost feels like oil, I don't know if it's going to last on my skin or not, but we'll have to see. Okay, you guys are probably going to have a heart attack as soon as I tell you this, but I have never tried the Wet n Wild, what are these called, Mega Glow highlighters, because typically I wear cream highlights or balm highlights because I'm starting to get texture and because I have dehydration. So I know these have been out forever, but I have two different shades and I'm really excited to give them a go. So the first one is Blossom Glow, and the second one is Royal Callus. So let me swatch these so you guys can see the shades. Okay, so this one right here, which has kind of a light pinky champagne color, that's Blossom Glow. And then the one with the purplish cool blue undertone is Royal Callus. So these have a beautiful sheen. Blossom Glow in particular, I'm not seeing any glitter or anything, so I'm really excited. Now Royal Callus, the purplish blue one, that one does seem a little bit more chunky. I'm not seeing any glitter, but the overall texture is a little bit more chunky than Blossom Glow, but I don't know. Let's give them a try. Okay, so I want to try both of these shades, so I'm just using a Real Techniques brush. So let's dip into the blue one first. I am going to tap off the brush because I'm not sure how pigmented these are. I don't see anything. Okay, hold on. Let me try and dig a little bit more into this. It's kind of weird. I'm not really seeing anything. Can you guys see it? Maybe it's the lighting, but I don't know. I'm not really noticing. Maybe it's just a really natural color, even though it looks strikingly blue or purple. Maybe it's just a lighter shade. I can barely see it. All right, let's try Blossom Glow. Okay, so even though this shade's lighter, I immediately can tell there's product on there. So I'm wondering if they're just two different formulas, maybe? Let's see. So I'm finding you can really dip into these highlighters without worrying about destroying the product. Ooh, that's pretty. Look at that. Ah, I love it. You guys, my lips are so chapped right now. Oh, they hurt so bad. It's just what happens when you live in colder climates. All right, so I'm going to put Blossom Glow on this side just to even myself out. And a little bit of Royal Callus, or Calyx on this side. Okay, I love Blossom Glow. If you have a fair to light skin tone and you have not tried these highlighters, what are they, $4 or something like that? And this one does feel very creamy upon the swatch, so I can tell the texture is different than the blue one, but what do you guys think? I'm not typically a powder highlight person, but I do like how, I wouldn't say they're particularly natural, but I think they melt into the skin and just look really nice. So as much as I really love the shade of this Milani cream blush, it doesn't, I don't know, you guys, I can't really see it anymore, can you? I don't know if I didn't put enough on or if it's just fading already, but I actually have another powder blush that I'd like to go in with and try. So before we move on to the lips, this is a Super Shock Cheek Blush from Colourpop, and the shade is called POV. Now look at how stunning this shade is. This is a super cool tone raspberry shade, and I am obsessed with Colourpop Super Shock textures. So let me swatch this for you. This just gets me so excited. Oh my gosh. Look at that. If there ever was a cool tone raspberry shade, this is it. And their textures typically blend out pretty well. Now this one's very pigmented, but take a look at that. See how that blends out so beautifully? All right, let's get this on my cheeks. I'm just going to use the e.l.f. Putty Blush brush and barely dip in because I know this is probably meant for deeper undertones, but I'm going to try to sheer it out a little bit. Oh my gosh. Obsessed. I hate saying that. I know it's a terrible saying, but oh, I'm going to build it up. This is so beautiful. This has a nice sheen to it too. No glitter, of course. Oh wow, look at the difference between that versus this. It's like flushed and healthy versus, it's okay. Now this Putty blush brush from e.l.f., you guys, it is a staple. Even though it's meant for creams, I love it for overly pigmented powder products too. Just the way the bristles are cut are just perfect for the cheeks. I literally just used whatever was left on my hand from that swatch. Now that is my kind of blush shade, a cool tone pink berry. I love it. What do you guys think? Okay, you guys, so I just have to mention, I went in with creams, powders, and then cream, and then more powders, and it's all good. I know that they say that you're not supposed to put cream products over powders, but I feel like that rule doesn't really apply anymore, and perhaps that's because a lot of makeup products are becoming just much better quality in my opinion. But what do you guys think about the overall skin finish? So I added a little more of the bronzer. I'm obsessed with the blush, as I said. That really got me excited. All right, hallelujah. If you have made it this far, the last step is the lips. Okay, so I know that I said none of these products are new, but I think this may be the only true new product. You'll have to let me know down below. So this is from the brand Dollface. This is a completely new brand to me. It was at Rite Aid, and they have these new Velvet Hug lipsticks. Now, I'm a sucker for red lips, so of course I had to grab one of their red shades. So I picked up the shade Amore, which appears to be... Okay, so I thought it was going to be a little bit more corally, but I don't think so. Let me swatch it for you guys. Oh my gosh, this smells like cherry sweet tarts. It smells so good. I thought I was smelling something. So that is the shade, what did I say it was called? Amore. So I'd say it's neutral. I would say it's a little bit more neutral leaning cool for a red shade. Let me just apply a little bit of the NYX lip liner in the shade Kitten Heels, and then we will apply the new Velvet Hug lipsticks from Dollface. Okay, you guys, I know I look like the Joker right now, and my lips are so dry. In Michigan, we just get the coldest weather, so I know my lips are dry. I totally understand, but all right, Dollface, let's see if you make me look like a doll face. Okay, so not only does this lipstick smell divine, like a cherry dessert, but the opacity of one swipe of this lipstick was surprising, because typically you only find that from higher end matte lipsticks. I am so impressed with this lipstick. Oh my gosh, we have so many good products today. So yes, as of now, I'm loving the Dollface lipstick. All right, next let's cut into the topic of the day, and then we will get into my final thoughts. All right, busy women, busy moms, are you ready for 3 tips on how to save money during this holiday season? The first tip I have for you is to create a budget and stick to it. I know this tip sounds very obvious. However, you would be surprised how many people don't really think about creating a budget. I mean, they do on a day-to-day basis, but when it comes to Christmas gifts or any sort of holiday gifts, a lot of the times people just go in willy-nilly and they try and find products here and there, but they don't set a strict budget. So I highly recommend creating a budget for you and your family and make sure you stick to it. That way you don't overspend. Tip number 2 is to check out third-party vendors for items you may be able to pick up from them at a discount. Now, I absolutely highly recommend supporting local businesses first. Of course, that's what I am all about, is supporting the local community. However, if you're not able to afford those options, or you're looking to simply save money on other gifts, then I highly recommend taking a look at some well-known third-party vendors such as Amazon, eBay, and Mercari. So a lot of the times you can get new or slightly used items for a very discounted price using these third-party vendors. So that's my second tip for saving money. My third tip for saving money this holiday season is to ask other family or friends and kind of collaborate on purchasing items together from the same company. So just for an example, if you find each of you for your families are going to be purchasing from the same company, then sometimes it makes sense to go in on those presents because typically you can get a discount, or not only a discount, but then you can save on shipping. So instead of paying 2, 3, 4 separate orders for shipping costs, you're then splitting one cost. So if you have any other family or friends that are looking to get together and possibly save money on their holiday gifts, that might be a great option to consider. So I hope those 3 tips are helpful for saving you money during this holiday season. Okay, I will see you back at the end of the day for my final thoughts and a wear test. Hi everybody, welcome to my final thoughts. Okay, so I tested out a ton of products, so we're just going to kind of breeze through them. Okay, so I'm just going to go in order of application. So first, let's start with the NYX Proof It Eyeshadow Primer. Now, I forgot to mention, this is a waterproof eyeshadow primer, and you guys, I have zero creasing on my eyes. Do you know how hard it is if you have oily eyelids to find an eyeshadow primer that helps to prevent creasing? That's why I typically only ever wear the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer. So I am so excited to find another affordable eye primer that prevents creasing. Let me just show you up close my eyeshadow. No creasing. Love it. Now, I know sometimes Colourpop's eyeshadows can be hit or miss. However, I do find the formula in this Thumper palette to be one of their better formulas where the mattes are creamy and the shimmers don't have chunky glitter in them. So overall, I really enjoyed this palette. It has a cool undertone. And I'm looking at the monitor right now and I just realized I completely forgot to do a brow highlight. But oh well, too late to do anything now. But as far as that green shade for the inner corner, I really enjoyed this eyeshadow palette. So I was not expecting to like this primer. Because I have oily, dehydrated skin, the struggle is real when you're trying to find good quality primers that don't emphasize your dehydration, but they help to control your oils. And I am really shocked. I really enjoy this primer. As soon as I get through this entire bottle, I can definitely see myself picking up another one. It does have a slight cooling effect, but I didn't really notice too much. So if you have sensitive skin and you were considering trying this out, I thought the scent was pretty minimal and I didn't really notice too much of a cooling effect. But as far as making my makeup last and the overall finish of my complexion, I don't know, you guys tell me. It's been about 9 hours, so here's what my skin is looking like. What do you guys think? I think it still looks dewy and luminous, and it's not super oily. So I wouldn't say it controls oils, but the finish I really enjoy. Now, as far as the 2 Wet n Wild base products, this is a holy grail of mine. So if you have not tried this $5 Tinted Hydrator, again, I think it performs like a foundation, and I think it leaves a true satin finish. So again, I think that's why so many people love the finish of this, because if you're oily, it's not too greasy, it's not greasy at all, and if you have dry skin, I don't find it super mattifying, so that perhaps could be why it's that perfect balance. Now, I'm pretty shocked to say that this Incognito concealer did not crease under my eyes. Now that is pretty rare, so as far as creasing, this gets an A+. I do think the shade Fair Beige was also a fantastic shade match for me. The only thing I would say is this also, I want to say, said it was a matte finish. I don't think it was super mattifying. Again, I think it was more like a satin finish, but this claims to be full coverage. I disagree with that. I think it's more on the light coverage, perhaps medium if you build it up. I didn't build it up with a ton of layers. So overall, do I like this concealer? Do I think it is worth it? Yes, I do recommend it if you are looking for a light coverage concealer that does not crease. Now, as far as the 2 blushes go, I like the shade, the Cherish You or Cherish You shade from Milani. But as far as the formula goes, I found it fading on me. I don't think if I would have went in with the Colourpop one, I don't think it would last very long. Perhaps if you have dry skin, because it has more of an oily finish, kind of like that greasier feel, so perhaps that could work for you. As far as me, I'm going to say a pass on the Milani blushes. But as far as the Colourpop Super Shock Cheek in POV, whoo! This is a beautiful, bright, pigmented blush. The shade is perfection. If you have a cool, fair to light undertone, this is so beautiful, but I can absolutely see how this would work on deep undertones as well because it's so pigmented. Now check this out. This is from the Colourpop blush. I washed my hand a couple of times and it basically stained. So whether you have a fair undertone, a light undertone, a deep undertone, I can totally see how this blush would last on your skin throughout the day and also show up. So I'm kind of mixed on these Revlon skin lights. I really do think the finish is, even though it's luminous, there's no glitter. So I think it provides a beautiful glow to the skin. However, as far as the shades go, I don't think these are super different. And I had the first and second shade, and I think there's only 3. So I would be a little concerned if you have a deeper complexion. I don't know how pigmented the deepest shade is, but as far as the first 2 shades, I really had to go in with multiple layers to build up the pigmentation. Alright, I completely understand why these Mega Glow highlighters from Wet n Wild were all the rage, and they're still all the rage. The effect it gives on the skin is really that natural lip from within glow. There's no glitter, so overall, I'm definitely going to be using this and adding it to my collection. And lastly, the Doll Face Velvet Hug Matte Lipsticks. Okay, you guys, so I can see this brand, Doll Face, that I picked up from Rite Aid. I can see this formula giving my high-end matte lipsticks a run for their money. Because, first of all, the scent is gorgeous. I mean, it literally smells like a cherry dessert. But aside from that, the pigmentation on these is pretty stunning, especially for drugstore formulations. Typically, I find you have to build up the formula, or the pigmentation, I should say, a couple times. But I was getting immediate opacity on the first swipe. But as far as the actual formula of these lipsticks, man, these are so comfortable. You know how some mattes you have to sacrifice comfort for longevity? I do not find these sacrifice anything. They lasted all day on me. I mean, look at my lips. I do have a little bit fading on the inside, but not much. But these are some of the most comfortable matte lipsticks I have ever tried. So I'm definitely going to be picking up the other shades that they have, or at least a couple more. Alright, so overall, I think we had a ton of hits. I think the only thing I wasn't a super big fan of were the Milani cream blushes. But overall, there were a lot of great products today, so I can absolutely understand how a lot of these products went viral. So definitely comment monetary makeup down below and let me know if you found the topic of the day helpful and if you've tried any of these products and what your thoughts were. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am going to be having a ton of content coming up. I'm trying to get in the habit of pre-filming, so definitely hit that notification bell if you enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys!